Hi, this is Donna Lee from DonnaLee.com, and you are listening to Black Hair Habits audiobook 25 Habits to Turn Short, Thin, Balding, Damaged Hair to Longer, Thicker, Stronger, Softer, Gorgeous Hair quickly. Before we get started with the 25 black hair habits, I'm going to tell you a little about my hair journey for those of you who don't already know. Well, I have been natural for going on 6 years now. Not quite 6 years, but getting pretty close to it. At the age of 43 is when I started my hair growth journey. Although during these past almost 6 years, I have gone through a long school of hard knocks, trial and error, failure after failure, lesson after lesson. And now, from what I learned from my mistakes, I am now able to pass this information on to you so that you can grow your hair long, strong, thick, quickly. And not have to spend all of the time that I did trying to learn it all on my own. So, here we go. At the age of 43, had decided that I was going to cut off all of my hair. And that is because my hair was an absolute mess. I had been wearing some sort of wig for going on 10 years straight, for like 3,000 days or more straight. Never ever taking off my wig unless I was by myself. So no one ever saw my hair. No friends, no family members, and definitely not any man that I was involved with. So you can imagine the state of my hair, not taking care of it and wearing a wig for between 9 to 10 years straight. So by the time I was 43, I was really miserable. Not only was I obese and sick, taking multiple medications and having barely any income, but I was negative too, with major hair issues. I had started a negative vent forum for black women. It was called Loving My Sisters, and it was pretty popular. And when I was on there arguing with some other women about how black hair can't grow and everything, because my hair couldn't grow, so I, lumped us all into one big pile. And so they told me that I should just cut off my hair and go natural. So I argued with them for 2 weeks. But because I was so miserable, I decided, I was going to do it. Now, they didn't know how bad off my hair was. I didn't tell them. I just was telling them that I was having some hair growth problems. But they didn't know that I had multiple bald patches in my hair mixed in with 2 and 3 inches of random broken off relaxed strands of hair. So since I had nothing to lose and I was so miserable, and I kept thinking to myself how I really wanted to be in a long-term serious relationship and get married, and how I would be so embarrassed to ever take off my wig in front of my new potential husband, I was just like, I don't know, I just got to do something. I got to try something. So I did what they said do, and I cut off all my hair and I started my natural hair journey. Now, I'm not saying that you need to cut off all of your hair. I'm just telling you my story right now. So, over the next going on 6 years, I ended up eventually growing hair to where it's down past my bra strap, going on to waist length now. And God willing, I anticipate having waist length hair between the next 4 to 6 months maximum, God willing. And so My hair, though, should be longer than what it is, but because I kept going through the school of hard knocks and losing the hair that I was growing is the reason why it's not longer than that now. But now, like I said, I'm able to share that same information with you so you can know what to do and know what not to do so that you can have a successful and quick hair growth journey so that you can regrow your balding spots and edges that you may have. Now, of course, everybody is not going to be able to regrow their balding spots because some people are at the point of being where it's just too late. But because I've had balding spots since the ages of 16 all the way through 43, I believe if I can do it, most people can do it. And because I started having balding spots at the age of 16 is what eventually led me to wearing the wigs in the first place. So at the age of 16, I started experiencing my first bout of alopecia. So my hair would grow like a couple, 1, maybe 2 inches at the most, and then break off. And it would break off to like just like peach fuzz. So it wasn't completely bald like a man's hair where he doesn't have any hair like that. So I had a little peach fuzz, but it just never would grow. It would just try to grow and then go all the way back down to just basically nothing. And it was like a circumference of maybe like 3 inches or something. So it's a pretty big spot. And because of that, I had to always keep all of my other hair cut really short because I just couldn't cover up that. I couldn't blend it all in well. So I kept like a Toni Braxton, really short Toni Braxton hairstyle or really short Halle Berry hairstyle. And then because I kept my hair so short and I kept cutting it off and everything, I was always getting it relaxed, always getting relaxed. And then what I didn't know then, that was like a big part of my problem was that every time it tried to grow, it couldn't grow because I would just keep throwing more relaxers on top of it really quickly, like within a short period of time. Like every 4 weeks, I was getting my hair relaxed. So now, I'm not telling you that you can't have relaxers. We're going to talk about this during my 25 black hair habits. But will tell you this, you're not going to be able to relax your hair all of the time. So, anyway, so I went on like that trend all the way until I was in my 30s, maybe around 33, 34, something like that. And by that time, I was so sick of short hair. I started then braiding my hair, getting my hair cornrowed, French braid, and having extensions put in. But it was very hard to get the extensions in and stuff because my hair would kept breaking off because I was still trying to relax it. And then also too, it was getting so tight that the edges of my hair started coming out. So then I started wearing weaves, but I didn't really do weaves too much because I found wigs to be easier and less expensive. And so there I went wearing weaves and wigs all the way until I was 43. So by the time I was 43, I finally decided to shave off all of my hair, and that began my journey. But like I said, I had a long school of hard knocks. So now that I am a little over bra strap length, now I'm going to share with you what I learned during these last almost 6 years so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Now, make sure that you take notes and make sure that you're doing all of these things because it's a combination of all these things together that's going to cause you to have a successful hair growth journey. So here we go. And by the way, these are in no particular order. All of these are just as important as the next thing. So Number one, eat right. Just like everybody knows that raw organic fruits and vegetables, meaning unprocessed, uncooked fruits and vegetables, are good for your body, well, it's good for your hair too. Because the hair comes out of your body. Okay? So when you eat plenty of raw fruits and vegetables, not only are you going to be healthier, but you're going to have better hair, better looking hair, stronger hair, healthier hair. Okay, number two, be careful with hairdressers. Be careful who you choose as your beautician. Now, not every hairdresser is like this, but many of them are. Meaning that nowadays they've gotten so used to dealing with people with wigs and weaves, meaning people with fake hair. And you don't have to be, gentle with fake hair. You can cut it all you want and brush it and comb it all you want, and nothing's going to happen to it. So they get into this state of mind, and then you have somebody coming with a real long hair, or somebody who's really trying to grow their hair coming in. I don't think they're all that conscious of it, of that, because they're so used to dealing with weaves and wigs. So you got to be careful who you choose as your hairdresser, your beautician. If you have somebody that's going to be running through your hair really quick and hard, they're going to be breaking off your hair as they're going through it, as they're combing through it. Your hair is going to be breaking off. So if you go to a hairdresser, if you don't do it yourself, and someone is not being gentle with your hair, don't be afraid to say something, or don't be afraid to walk out. Number three, tissues, or satins or silk coverings on your rollers and curlers. So when you want to roll or curl your hair, make sure you're covering up your rollers and curlers with some type of tissue that's made for that. Or nowadays they even have silk and satin types of wraps that go on the rollers and curlers. Number four, rarely use heat. Okay, so my hair is natural. I don't have a relaxer, and I get my hair. I use heat on my hair only once every 3 months. That's it. So I go to the hairdresser, and she washes it, conditions it, blow dries it, and then she presses it and flat irons it. That is the only time I use heat on my hair, from that point to the next 3 months. So for approximately 1.5 months after that, I wear my hair in its pressed flat iron state. After that, I wash and condition my hair really good, and then I wear it in its shrunken natural afro state, or do twist outs, or have maybe about 6 chunky braids underneath, and find some fancy way to wear a silk or satin scarf. You can look at pictures you can Google different celebrities like J-Lo, for example, or Rihanna, or whoever. Think of some celebs that you have seen with scarves on their head, and if you Google them, you can see some different designs that they have, and maybe copy them if you like some of theirs, or maybe you already have some in mind. So that is a good way of of wearing some type of nice style without having to worry about putting heat on your hair. And also too, during that month and a half where I just go with my hair in its total natural state, I also use a lot of water in my hair during that time period as well. So this is kind of like a 26 hair habit here. I'm combining this with number four. But anyway, so during that same time period, I when I take a shower and stuff, I'm not afraid to get my hair wet. I'll get my hair wet so my hair can have plenty of moisture, plenty of water, and I'm making sure though I'm still oiling it and leaving conditioners and all this kind of stuff. Really, really taking care of my hair. Hair loves moisture though, and moisture is like a combination of water and oils mixed together. So I do that a lot during that period. Okay, number 5, make sure that you're wrapping up your hair at night with a satin or silk scarf or sleep on a satin or silk pillowcase. And that's because you don't want your hair rubbing up against your cotton pillowcases, and that's going to cause your hair to break off. Number 6, be careful with hair bonnets. So if you wear like a satin or silk hair bonnet, be careful with the edges of it, because those edges of those bonnets can cause your hair line, your edges and the nape to break off. So if you're going to wear a satin or silk head bonnet at night, make sure that you're pulling it down enough that it is like on your forehead and not sitting on your hair line. And as a side note, so this is kind of like another 27th habit, as a side note, don't wear those wig stocking caps that are like nylon and stuff, by the way. If they're not silk or satin, don't put those things on your head. So if you're wearing like those stocking caps and stuff underneath your wigs and weaves and stuff, stop wearing those. Those are really damaging to your hair. Number 7, use plastic wide tooth combs. You don't want to use metal combs or narrow tooth plastic combs. You want to use wide tooth plastic combs that are not chipped or broken, so that it's easy to go through your hair and not popping your hair off. Number 8, bobby pins. Make sure they have the tips on them. That's what those tips are for. The tips are to protect your ends. So if you have 1 or 2 of the tips missing on the bobby pins, don't use them. Get new ones. Number 9, file your nails. Make sure you don't have chipped nails and stuff when you're dealing with your hair, because those chipped nails will snag your hair and break off your hair. Number 10, drink lots of water. This is similar to eating healthy raw fruits and vegetables, drinking lots of water. You should be drinking at least 64 ounces of water daily, and I recommend that you drink bottled spring water. Just like the raw fruits and vegetables are good for your body, the water is also good for your body. And your body needs it. And just like your hair, like I stated before, your hair is coming out of your body. So the water also affects how your hair grows, the quality of your hair. Number 11, sometimes you just have to leave your hair alone. You can't comb it all of the time. And like I was saying, how like I only put heat on my hair approximately once every 3 months. That's the same. And well, I told you then I go through that period of maybe like a 1.5 month period, but I really don't do too much with my hair. I let it be in its shrunken natural state, or I put braids in it and wear a silk scarf and all that kind of stuff. That is a part of leaving my hair alone. I'm not combing it. I'm not manipulating it. I might go 2 weeks or so without doing it, absolutely nothing to it, leaving it alone. Another way of calling that, another word for that, is protective styling. So people wear their hair in buns and things that's covering up their ends and stuff, so that their ends are not exposed, so they're hanging on to the ends of their hair, so that their hair is just not growing and then breaking off on the ends. So you want to hang on to the ends of the hair, but I recommend that you just go for periods of time, not only protective styling, but just plain old leaving your hair alone. Number 12, this goes against most everyone's rule, and that is trimming your hair. They say trim your hair. I say don't trim your hair. I don't recommend ever trimming your hair. But if you are going to trim it, I recommend that you go to someone that you really, 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 really trust to trim it. So you might want to learn how to trim it yourself, or if not, then you have somebody again that you really trust. Somebody that's really close to you, somebody you know has your best interest at heart and who's not going to do anything to harm you on purpose. So, and so that was one of my big mistakes. That was a huge setback that I had. I got my hair trimmed one time during my journey over the last, like I said, going on 6 years. One time, she was supposed to trim it a half inch. She ended up trimming it, cutting it about 2.5 inches. For me, that was a huge setback because I still hadn't learned how to really grow my hair quickly, and I was still in the learning process of my hair. And that 2.5 inches took me about a year to grow. That nearly gave me a heart attack. I was very upset. And I haven't gotten my hair trimmed since then. And since then, I also have the belief that you don't need to have your hair trimmed as long as you're taking care of your hair. You don't need to have your hair trimmed because your hair is able to any split ends, your hair is able to put those split ends back together again. You don't have to cut your hair. You don't have to trim your hair. So, but that's up to you. But I highly recommend that you don't. If you do, very rarely, and again, with yourself doing it or somebody that you really, really trust doing it. Number 13, lubricate your hair before combing it. So whether you're combing it, whether it's in its natural state, pressed or relaxed or whatever, don't just grab the comb and start combing through your hair dry. Put something on your hair. So if you have like your hair is like in its totally natural state and you're gonna comb through it, again you need to be using a wide tooth plastic comb, and then you got to put some moisture, put like a mixture of water and oil, some kind of spray mist, super growth oil, or leave-in conditioner. You got to put something in it to soften up your hair and to loosen it up, because when it's dry, it's very, very brittle and it'll just start snapping off. And the same if your hair is pressed or relaxed. You want to put some oils in your hair a little bit. You don't need a lot. And so it makes the comb easy to glide through it. And you don't want to be combing through your hair anyway all day, every day. Comb it one time and leave it alone. And number 14, when you are, if your hair is in its natural state, again, it's very important that you don't try to run a comb through it when it's dry. As a matter of fact, I recommend that you do a lot of finger combing with it. So finger comb your natural hair as much as possible. And the same even with detangling it. Finger comb, finger detangle your hair. Separate your hair with your fingers. Number 15, stretch out your relaxers. Don't relax your hair all the time. Just like how I was saying how although my hair is in its natural state, I do get my hair pressed and flat ironed, but I said I only do that once every 3 months. So in other words, that adds up to only 4 times a year. That's the only time that I'm putting heat on my hair. So that's the same thing with stretching out your relaxers. You don't keep relaxing your hair over and over again, like every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks. You have to put a good amount of space in between the times that you're getting the relaxer. So although I don't have a relaxer now and I have not grown out my hair with a relaxer, but I do know the mistakes that I made when I had relaxers, and that was over processing my hair. That was continuously putting relaxers on my edges, trying to keep my edges straight. Like when I would wear my wigs, I would comb my my hair, my real hair, on the outside of my wigs to blend in with my wigs. And so because I wanted to keep my edges as straight as possible, every couple of weeks I was relaxing my edges. That's way too much. And then the rest of my hair, I would be relaxing like every 6 weeks, and I was doing it myself, not knowing what I was doing. It was overlapping, and so my hair was just a mess and just broken off. So one is, if you don't know what you're doing yourself, then you need to go to a professional, and two, don't get it done all of the time. Put a good amount of space between your relaxers, like 3 months, and better yet, even 6 months. Because those are chemicals, so you're going to be having chemicals and you're going to be having heat. So you don't want to over process your hair. Number 16, when you do comb your hair, begin at the ends first and then work your way up. So detangle from the ends, working your way up. 17, be gentle. Be gentle with your hair, not rough, gentle. I remember when I was growing up, and I think most African American girls know what women know what I'm talking about as being girls, our mothers and grandmothers and aunts and everything. When we got our hair combed, they would be very rough with our hair. Because of the mindset of thinking that kinky, coily, nappy hair is rough hair, it's bad hair. When in fact, our hair is the most gentle hair, the most easy to break hair. So you can't be rough with it. It's fragile hair. That's the word I'm looking for. It's fragile hair. So when you're trying to detangle, again, which was number 16, was to comb from the ends first. And then after you get the tangles out, then you can comb down from the top after you get the tangles out. So number 17, though, was be gentle. Number 18 is protect your hair even when you are inside of the house. So let's say you go outside and you got your hair down. When you get inside the house and you don't have anything fancy going on or whatever, feel free to keep your hair protected inside of your house. Cover it up with a satin or silk scarf, even though you're not going to bed yet. But if you don't have something fancy going on, just go ahead and cover your hair so that it's not, doesn't have to continuously rub up against your clothes and everything. And that kind of excess rubbing and being exposed to air more and everything, it helps it to break off more. And 19, thank God for your beautiful hair. Yes, be thankful and grateful for whatever hair you have now, because it could be worse. There are some people, like for example, people who are going through chemotherapy and they have no hair. So be thankful for the hair that you have now. Thank God for it. And the more you're thankful, the more blessings that you will get. So be thankful for the hair that you have now. 20, don't wear tight styles. So many of us, we when we get our hair braided, we get it braided real tight. When we put it in ponytails, we get it that real tight, pulled back real tight and gelled down with all this alcohol in the gel and all this stuff. All of that mixture, all that tightness and stuff causes our hair to break off and bald spots and stuff. Number 21, don't use rubber bands. So if you're going to have your hair in a ponytail or something, use some type of satin or silk band in order to hold your hair together, not a rubber band, not things that's going to cause your hair to rub against it and break off. Number 22, take care of your hair even under your wigs and weaves. That was one of my huge mistakes. I just kept piling on wigs, not taking care of the hair underneath my hair at all. Number 23, take your time. This kind of goes with being gentle with your hair. So if you're trying to rush through your hair, trying to get it combed really quick and everything, automatically you're not going to be gentle with your hair. Take your time. Number 24, don't brush your hair with a regular hairbrush, the kind of brushes that we have been using when we were growing up. You want to use either a Denman hairbrush, that's spelled Denman. You can Google it to see what that is, or a detangling hairbrush. And finally, make sure that you are using natural hair oils, like, for example, Dawn Ali's Super Hair Growth Oils. I have made a Super Hair Growth Oil that is a combination of 10 oils that is made specifically for growing hair quickly, helping to repair split ends. You got to keep those ends moisturized with the hair oil, and rubbing some of it into the bald spots, a little amount into the bald spots you have, will help to activate and stimulate your hair growth again in most cases, unless your hair is just beyond the point of no return. But because I had balding spots all the way from 16 to 43 and still was able to regrow my hair, I believe most people can. But again, that's not going to work for 100% of the people, but most can. And it also smells delicious, and your hair smells good, and it will become shinier and softer, and you will notice in your a difference in your hair from the very first use. So how does this make your hair grow? One, it is because the oils are specifically designed for growing and retaining your hair that you have. So it helps to make your hair grow out of your scalp faster. It helps to retain hair that you have, making your hair stronger. And it helps to regrow bald spots. So, those are the 25 black hair habits. Peace and blessings. Thank you for listening. I wish you the best during your hair growth journey. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any more questions or concern with regrowing your hair. You can personally email Dawn at dawnali.com, DAWN at DAWNALI.com. And if you want to get my super growth oil, go to dawnali.com, DAWNALI.com. Peace and blessings.